Hello, this is New Vision TV. I'm Lynn Komjisha. For long described as an island of peace in a troubled region, Kenya woke up to a bloody coup on the morning of Sunday, August the 1st, 1982. It took almost a full day for the forces loyal to President Daniel Arap Moi to crush the coup and restore him to power.
Exactly 1 week before Kenyans go to the polls, the country is marking the 35th anniversary of the bloody August 1st coup, which shocked the world that had come to regard Kenya as an island of peace in the strife torn Africa. The coup was staged by junior servicemen of the Kenya Air Force led by Private Hezekiah Ochuka. The coup makers were generally ethnic Luos. A few hours after the coup announcement, central Nairobi had been looted to a shell, but the Kenya army fought ferociously and reversed the coup. In the afternoon, the familiar voice of a veteran broadcaster, Leonard Mambo Mbotera, went on air on national radio and announced, "Serikali imerudi mikononi." The government is back in the right hands. The death toll was quite high and no exact figure had ever been given. Some looters who had commandeered a Kenya bus services vehicle are said to have perished when it was hit by a bazooka. Asian traders had been specifically targeted by the looters, and some Indian women are said to have committed suicide rather than leave after being sexually assaulted. The coup leaders fled to Tanzania. A shaky President Moi was finally taken to Nairobi from his Nakuru farm by General Mohammed, a Kenyan Somali commander who headed the Kenyan armed forces for long after. Like a wounded lion, Moi declared he had been pushed to the wall. "Muneniskuma mpaka, nimefika mkutani," and that he was going to lead with a firm hand. That was a turning point in Kenya's politics. Moi started by disbanding the Kenya Air Force. When it was reconstituted, it was renamed after himself as the Moi 82 Air Force. Moi proceeded to ban all political parties and declared Kenya a one-party state. So KANU was fused with government. Moi increasingly started relying on force to run the country. Earlier, he had been going around with the Bible, saying it was his guide. The Nyayo house in the city center became a dreaded torture chamber as horror stories from its basements made the rounds. The Luo community that had been openly discriminated during the Kenyatta era and had got some respite under Moi was again targeted. As happens under dictatorship to hire psychopaths from a marginalized community, Moi also employed the biggest praise singers from the Luo community. One physically gigantic Minister of Agriculture called Odong Omono even went ahead to call Moi the Prince of Peace, a title usually reserved for Jesus Christ. In a bizarre and inexplicable twist, Tanzania, whose border with Kenya had even been closed since the collapse of the East African Community in 1977, returned the coup plotters in Nairobi, where, as expected, they were quietly executed. The repression under KANU accelerated, but it bred resistance from civil society. Lawyers, journalists, and religious leaders put up a spirited struggle against the KANU dictatorship, and many ended up in prison. Lawyers Paul Muyite and Gitobu Imanyara became symbols of mobilization against Moi. Environmentalist and later Nobel Peace Prize winner Professor Wangari Maathai also led a relentless struggle and even mounted enough pressure to stop KANU from building a 66-floor building in Nairobi's largest green space on account of its environmental hazard. A humiliated Moi never forgave Wangari Maathai and kept harassing her until he left power. The KANU dictatorship became so bloodthirsty that they even killed the Bishop of Eldoret, Bishop Alexandra Munge, in a stage-managed road accident. South African Bishop Desmond Tutu kept referring to Bishop Munge's death as a road execution. The Kanu dictatorship then shocked the world by assassinating its own foreign minister, Dr. Robert Ouko, who happened to be the highest-ranking Luo public official. Ouko had just returned from a trip with President Moi in the United States, where the American media had unwittingly signed his death warrant by praising his Polish democracy and comparing him uncharitably to his boss. Moi's right-hand man, Nicholas Biwoti, who arrogantly called himself the Toto Man, was widely suspected of the murder and was briefly arrested. The pressure mounted by civil society increased even as the government became blatantly bloodthirsty. Finally, the economy started grumbling and the government yielded to pressure by the donors to open up and restore multi-party rule. But even after the restoration of multipartyism, it took another 10 years to finally dislodge Kanu from power in 2002, with the elder Mwai Kibaki defeating the young Uhuru Kenyatta, whom Moi had handpicked as Kanu's flag bearer. Much as Kanu is gone, the criminality and corruption it injected in Kenyan public affairs still lingers on.
You're still watching New Vision TV, and now for Pearl of Africa series, we take a look at Chibibi Forest. Chibibi Forest is one of Uganda's most green forests, located in Chabadaza, Mpigi district. This forest is separated by a highway, and both sides are next to a big swamp, also known as Chibibi Swamp. Just like many forests in Uganda, Chibibi is a habitat to many endangered species. Let's take a look. Chibibi Forest is found in Mpigi district. This forest is covered with tall trees. Just like Mabida Forest along Ginger Road, Chibibi is separated by a highway in Chabadaza. Birds, wild animals, and more endangered species find shelter in this forest. The trees are so tall to accommodate animals like monkeys, geckos, and even snakes. Some activities to engage in while here are hiking, sightseeing, sunbathing, camping, among others. Interesting enough is a big swamp that lies just next to this forest, and it is also called Chibibi Swamp. For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website www.newvision.co.ug. And that's all we had for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch more of your updates on your mobile, on your desktop, on your tablet, anywhere on the go by visiting www.newvision.co.ug. I am Lynn Komjisha.